What's going on, guys? Recently bought a new everyday carry folder, and I don't know about you guys, specifically the knife makers that watch my channel, but it seems that ever since I started making knives and having the ability to make folders, fixed blades, pretty much, hopefully whatever I put my mind to, it seems like I'm really not buying nearly as many knives these days as I used to. And although there are a lot of designs and knives that I would love to own, you kind of would rather spend that money on tools and things for your own knives. Not that you don't want to support other makers, don't get me wrong on that, but your priorities kind of shift, I guess. That said, every once in a great while there's a design that really jumps out at me, and one that I really just would love to own. And this happened to be one of those. This is a new CRKT amicus by Jesper Voxnes, who owns Vox Knives. He's got several collaborations with a few companies out there. Got a few with CRKT. And there were a lot of things I really liked about this folder. The price is really good. I think it's a high value folder for what you get. Definitely not going to be one of his customs, or maybe as nice as knives that are 2, 3, 4 times the money. But for everyday carry, everyday use, and beating on, I really like this knife. And I've been carrying it around, breaking it in. The ergos are good. I like the general shape, the design, different features on it. But I'm not going to make this a review video. I did just want to turn on the camera, though, and take you guys along for how I set up to sharpen knives. As this one, although the edge did come pretty sharp, it had a little bit of a chip on the end there as soon as I opened it up. It grinds a little bit uneven, and it could use just a little bit of a touch-up. So I figured now's a good time to turn on the camera, show you guys how I sharpen not only my own knives typically, but also other knives that I carry or sharpen for other people. Kitchen knives, folders, it's all going to be pretty much the same. So this is how I'll normally have my grinder set up, whether I'm working on it or not. I do probably 90% of my work in grinding on the flat platen, so normally that's the one I have in here. I'll also generally be leaving this tool arm in here in one of the slots just to be ready for a table. Though it is out of the way, I could still use my flat platen, tilt it, grind on it like so, freehand, and this isn't in the way at all. But it is ready to go when I need it, and we will be using that for this. So what I'm going to do, I'll normally use a used belt for sharpening, anywhere from 120 used to 220, even to 320. Normally really don't need to go any higher than that, especially if it's a used belt. You'll get a pretty fine polish on the edge, and then we can kind of touch it off on the buffer real quick and give it kind of a final little polish, and really have a nice serviceable edge that should be good for most tasks. But I've got to use 220 here. It's actually quite used, maybe almost too used, but we'll see how it does. We're really not removing a whole lot of steel, just touching the edge up. So got that on. We'll back our arm out for this big boy here, and really I could use any of the tables, but I've been wanting to kind of try this one out, so we'll get it set almost all the way in, tighten it so it won't pivot, then tighten on the grinder. This is a rock solid table. I know it's perfectly 90 on this face. It's actually already been zeroed for this face as well. But since we're sharpening, I like most of my edges at about 30 degrees, 15 per side. So what I'm going to do here, got this angled block. We'll get up nice and close to the belt. Looks like our table has already been zeroed. And I've explained this before, but you always want to keep it on the same side. As far as your display, you don't want to flip it around, and then flip it here, because your table may not be perfectly level to the world here. So right now we're zero this way. If I turn it around this way, You know, I'm at 2 degrees, so got a little bit of a lean, but everything's going to be relative here, so that's not really a big deal at all. So we're zeroed this way, we're zeroed this way. We're worried strictly about the reference from the table to the platen. And now we're going to take this off of 90 to 75, which will be 15 degrees. The way we're going to be looking at it. And I'm really enjoying these toolless options on this new grinder here. It's really sped up pretty much everything I do on this thing. And we'll move the table in again. Really didn't need to move it in that first time, obviously. And now we got a straight edge here, 1, 2, 3 block. Not really necessary. We can kind of freehand it. But you know, this will make sure that we keep it nice and steady. I'll just put the corner of the block on the flat of the blade here, which is just behind the ricasso. And you know, we'll be able to go back and forth, and you'll see as we do it. This is where variable speed is really nice too. You can go slow enough to get some work done, but not too fast that you're wearing out your steel or overheating it. And it looks like that was probably a little less than 30, or a little more obtuse. It was maybe 35 degrees, so we're going to be thinning this out just a little bit, which is fine. Looking pretty good so far. And right now I'm just tracking the edge to be pretty much flush on the end. I don't want to put too much of a radius on this. And we'll switch to the other side. We're pretty flush to the edge still here. And that chip's slowly disappearing. And wet our blade. It's really not getting warm, but better safe than sorry. And the tip is looking pretty good. We're getting a wire now. Still got a little more material to take down to establish the brand new edge. stretch this out just a little bit. Edge is much more uniform now. Got a little bit more to go. And I'll just even it up on this side. We should be pretty close. I'm liking that a lot better. Even our tip out, and we're about done. Now, some guys can freehand this. I suppose I could too. But I'm a little picky about these kind of things. I can get a lot more perfect with a little help, so why not? One thing I'm really liking about this grinder, I can actually talk on the video. You guys can hear me, as opposed to the other machine. So where are we at on time? A little bit long on this one, but we'll clean off a little space here just to show the whole process. And this is a lesson in what not to do and get your buffer area all cluttered up. But real quick, just knock any little wire off. Give the whole blade a little bit of a polish. Didn't even really need to put any compound on. And, you can see that's plenty sharp for anything I'm going to need it for. So got rid of that chip, evened up the edge. Tip's nice and symmetrical now. And for the whole 12 minutes it took for me to blab and set things up. It could have been done a little faster, but that's a new everyday carry knife, sharpened up, ready for action. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.